Hey guys, this is Greg, Danny, and Joe from Ritual Gaming here, and we are bringing you episode 9. Doesn't have a title. As you can tell, it's very early in the morning here, and this is the first time we've actually shot an episode in the early morning time, and I have now realized that me having no curtains and very large windows is an issue when it comes to my camera. As you can see, I am basically an angel on a white background right now. But enough of that, let's talk about the actual game. So, there's been a lot of new stuff that's come out. We have a lot of guild and raid discussions to talk about, and also we want to talk about how Arena has changed with protection being out for a while now. Who's doing well, who's not. But the first thing we're going to talk about is guild challenges. So there's been a lot of information just recently released by EA Jesse on the guild challenges, where we've seen some increases to their quotas for the tier 7s, etc. So let's jump right into it. Monday's guild challenges are a total of 70,000 energy. And that means your entire guild needs to have spent 70,000 energy. Now it seems to be on anything, that doesn't matter. So I did some calculations and it boils down to 1,400 energy each. So with, I made a little note here, so it's doable with around 5 normal energy refreshes, 3 Cantina refreshes, and you need to wait for your bonus energy to come up. So it would be about a $700 $700 Christmas bonus put right into this game.
Christmas for somebody.
Yeah, $700 crystal investment.
Merry Christmas, EA.
Yeah. Jeez,
So that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And that's tier 7, right?
Yeah, that is tier 7. Yeah, I only put down tier 7s because obviously that's what people would be aiming for. However, that is a lot. Now, this challenge doesn't really seem that bad if you compare it to some of the other ones. But let's talk about this one at first. What I like about this is that you can spend your energy any way you want. So it's basically just your normal farming routine, a bit on steroids, right?
Right. Do you think that in guild rewards there'll be crystals at some point, or crystals in any of the rewards? Because if there are, that's another kind of...
That's a good point.
I think there's got to be, because looking down this whole list we're about to go through, there's so many things that take more crystals than anyone realistically, even a pretty heavy player, like anyone outside of a person who pays a lot of money could actually afford to spend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to imagine that they wouldn't set up guilds in such a... I mean, this is also tier 7. There are 6 other tiers before tier 7 that you can also hit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It could be just that if you want to hit tier 7, you have to spend money. Or it could be that it's a general kind of power creep, and now they're just more crystals and more of everything, and it's just easier to hit those targets.
That's true, and I think the way smaller guilds or guilds that are going to be more towards free-to-play is that you'll just focus on certain days. For example, like if you wanted to get tier 7 with this, you just have to maybe save up some crystals from other days that you would use in your normal routine.
Skip Saturday and Sunday in your guild activity or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I mean, it's possible, but it is quite a huge sum. Right?
Yeah, that's 700 crystals, and I don't spend, and I haven't spent 700 crystals in a day really.
Only on refreshes alone.
Oh yeah. Like there might be the odd day where I just go, oh, screw it, today I'm pulling the chromium machine because I'm dumb. But my average daily spend is about 500 or 600, which I can get back by coming first in arena.
Yeah,
but
I'm about 5.
that exceeds the amount that you can at this point in time make on a good day of play. Like if you come first in arena and you do all of your challenges and you beat Galactic War and blah 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 blah. So it's interesting that the top tier is just a little bit out of reach of a heavy daily player.
It's an interesting number, and that's what makes me think they're going to be adding crystals in some other form.
I think though, I don't know, man. To me, that feels a little hopeful. It feels like if you're thinking that way, that means that they want to give you a possibility where they're not making money, where you can still obtain the highest rewards. But I don't think they're
I'm
gonna
not
wanna-
saying like they're just gonna give it to you. I'm saying like maybe one of the rewards will be like 100 crystals.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
And then that's just that extra. Maybe I can hold on to another 100 while I've wasted the 7. You know, like I don't know, just so you don't feel so bad about spending your entire crystal load.
I wonder too, with guild rewards, I'm sure it'll get to a point where people might not necessarily need to get rewards from that day for the guild. You know, obviously people will at first want to get maximum rewards for each day, but after a while it's like, you know, you have all your characters farmed up and everything like that. Do you need more?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends what's in those guild shipments and how they get doled out, right? Like,
Yeah.
the one thing I haven't seen much of is how do those guild shipments get calculated?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you get a reward from where your guild hits on the tiers, and you also get an individual reward based on your own contribution.
Your own contribution, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
yeah, I
guess-
read somewhere there was 2 different currencies, right? Like Greg just said, the individual and a group kind of currency from guilds.
Oh, they
I read
convert
that somewhere from EA just a long time ago, but I don't know if they.
Oh,
a
so
time
they-
ago,
that's
as in
true.
a couple
They
weeks
convert
ago.
into separate currencies, or they're all going to go into the same currency, but you'll get, 2 different revenue streams.
It's got to be the same currency, in my
think?
mind.
It'd be too like just adding one new currency is already complicating things a lot.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
don't
could
think
see
so.
I could see it being both, but
Mm.
in my hope, I hope that they would do that. Guys, as we said, it's very early in the morning here, so I'm not as articulate as usual.
Usually we're just like walking dictionaries, but
Yeah.
yeah.
In my hope, that's what I hope. All right, let's have a look at Tuesday, because Tuesday when I saw this one, I immediately went to the old calculator, and so it's Galactic War,
And
you
you've
need
even added a
6
ha 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 at the end.
It's 600 for 600 completed battles of Galactic War. So that means that if you divide that number by 50, which is your maximum amount of guilds, so assuming you have a full guild, everyone needs to full clear Galactic War to get your tier 7 challenge reward, right?
Or you don't do your Monday Galactic War, you just activate it and start doing it on Tuesday and do both.
I always do that
Of
the day
course.
before anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You have like
Yep.
2 chances basically.
Oh,
So I guess-
that'll be so easy to complete then.
Yes, so I guess Monday you just don't do Galactic War, you just you activate it and leave it.
Right.
Unless they put something in that it only logs that particular day's Galactic War battles, but I mean that would be really lame.
That would be lame, but that would be something that is possible. Like if you reset it, then that's the number, whatever number that you've gotten from that first level, that's the number that you have for the day.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Because if they don't make it like that, if they say where you can only have one Galactic War shot, then that means 50 people will have to have a perfect Galactic War, and that's like almost impossible because somebody's going to run into like some gnarly team.
Yeah, that just wears them down so much. Because that's the problem with the Galactic War, right? Is it's not the team that beats you, it's the team that wears you down so much that you then can't survive for the next 5 matches or something.
Yeah.
It's when you get a really gnarly team at like node 6. That's when you lose Galactic War.
Yeah.
Like any team at the highest, at like the last 3, you can just stomp through with your A team, no problem. It's that early team that screws you up. And yeah, you're right. Like 50 people, someone's going to get that bogey team.
Yeah,
That
the Node 6, Kylo, 5s, Poggle, Phasma, Lumi.
Yeah.
Or
That
Royal Guard instead of Lumi, and you're just like, oh my god.
just
man.
refuses to die and just wipes out half your protection and half your health, and then screws you up for the whole day. So yeah, I'm hoping that you can just do a little bit of meta gaming and just carry across some carry across some Galactic War energy from the previous day.
That would make sense.
I'm sure that's gonna.
And then everyone in your guild has 24 attempts, and then it's much more manageable.
Yeah. So the next one is Wednesday, and Wednesday is a joke. Holy smokes. 70,000 hard mode energy for your entire guild. So that boils down to, again, 1,400 energy each, but only to be spent on hard modes. So,
Yikes.
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
literally impossible unless you have an incredibly whale guild. I want one guild to just continually do this every week, and that guild is just called like Whale Lord, like that Pokemon.
No, they're called Team Instinct.
Well, there you go. Right?
Yeah. I was going through the Galaxy Heroes Cantina, where they're getting together a list of guilds, and I was flicking through that during a chat on the Discord, and it seems like they're putting their own flavor text for every guild that has already kind of registered themselves as like, we're going to be a guild once this kicks off.
Right.
And I don't know if they labeled themselves as this or the Cantina guys labeled them, but it was just hardcore pay to win guild. But those guys. But even then, like, that's not how you want to be spending your crystals, really. Like,
yeah,
I don't have enough hard modes that I
want to.
I don't have enough hard modes that I even want to do. Like,
Yeah.
once I've done all my hard modes every day, I've maybe spent 300 energy.
Well, obviously, the most efficient way to do it, right, would be to basically do all the hard modes available, not to refresh, right? Because if you refresh, then you're spending even more crystals. You want to be spending your refreshes on energy renewal instead of reopening the hard modes, right? So it forces you to just get a bunch of shards you don't really want. It's interesting. I wonder if even guilds like Team Instinct would approach that Wednesday, what is it, Wednesday, right? Yeah, if they would approach the Wednesday challenge on a regular basis. Like, I could see if it gave some really good rewards, like maybe you would do it for the first month or something like that, but doing it every day would be...
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing to consider, is that we don't know what the rewards are for these, and obviously not every guild is going to be hitting tier 7. Everything we talk about here is the maximum.
Yeah, I think we don't know what the rewards are, but I think some people, there has been some data mine stuff. I just...
Oh, okay.
Do you think the rewards will be, like, vastly different every day? Or do you think similar?
To me, it would probably be like, every Wednesday you get this type of thing. Every Thursday you get this type of thing. But
it might be one of those things where Wednesday doesn't really matter, but it could also be one of those things where Wednesday
is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's the one that everybody wants, like a whole mess of
Omega shards or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Thursday is 375 daily challenges, and I didn't even bother doing the math on that, but maybe I should.
Are you just assuming that...
That would be an easy one.
I think everyone just needs to do all their daily challenges, right?
Yeah. So it's, 7.5 daily
7.5, yeah.
So
that's everyone needs to do that extra half of a daily challenge.
So that's fine. So I'm assuming most guilds will... What I do like is that they are giving it, even the little fish, the little tiny or free-to-play players, a chance to also get tier 7 rewards. And if the rewards aren't rotating on a daily basis, then if they're all the same, like every time you get tier 7 rewards, it's going to be the same type of thing, then at least they can access those rewards on some days.
Yeah, just 7 times slower.
Yeah, very, very slowly. Although they can do the Galactic War one.
That's true.
Okay, Friday is 70,000 energy in dark side battles, so that means around 1,400 energy in dark side battles, which is much more difficult than the Monday one because since you'll only have to be refreshing your normal energy, right? So I kind of roughly calculated it to around 9 refreshes, and that would get really expensive.
Yeah, because the first 2 are nice and cheap, and
That's
then
50.
and then the next two are 100 each, right? And then does it bump up to 200 after that?
Yeah, 200.
No, the next 3 are 100 each. I'm pretty sure.
The next three are 100 each, yeah, and then it bumps up to 2, right?
2, and then I've actually never gone past 2. I don't know if it goes so far.
No,
after
I've
2.
never done more than 5 refreshes in a day.
So let's
Anyways,
say
it gets ridiculous.
6 would be 700 crystals already, and that's not enough.
Yeah, that's
So-
more than you can earn
Are you
unless
sure
you're
the
paying.
math is correct on that? I don't.
For how much?
9 refreshes? That just sounds insane.
Well, because it's 1400 energy, and think about, okay, I'm going at it for about, like, if you have 140 energy each time you refresh. So that's 10 times that you'd have to refresh, right? But you have the 45 free energy 3 times daily, so that's about one of those. So take one of those away. So I'm saying roughly, like, obviously you'd get energy refresh over the day to, like, slowly building up, but
Yeah,
let's say,
but I mean, what does that add up to? Like 150 to 200 or something
Yeah.
over the course of a day.
so even if it was 8, it's still over 700 crystals.
Anything 500 is my magic number, like
Yeah. Well,
because
that's
what you
because
get for your it's because what you get for coming first in arena,
yeah.
and then obviously you get a few extra on top of that. But I like to keep that. That's
Yeah,
why
same.
I'm always on. You know, like some days if I really want something, like I'll run another cantina for more than usual or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, generally speaking,
Yeah.
500 is the magic number. So when you see 700, you kind of go, "Eeh."
But again, I really feel like these tier 7 challenges are meant to be pay to win challenges, right? They're
Yeah, and that's fair enough, I suppose. Like, you know, I actually kind of was thinking the other day how we've obviously recently joined this Team Skunk community, and we spend a lot of time like chatting with a lot of people, and throughout my like time playing this game, I find it a bit weird that there isn't really an area of the game where, I mean, the only reason to really pay a lot of money and have a huge roster so far is just to be able to kind of adjust with the meta, I suppose.
yeah.
There's never been a
Or
big
farm your
reward-
characters faster.
or farm your characters faster, but then you have a bunch of characters, but you can only ever take 5 in, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like you can take a 25 character team in, like your Wish Upon a Star, you know. And
I
which
would love
be
that.
would be so rad. But and so yeah, I guess tier 7. If your guild is a tier 7 guild and you beat tier 7 every single day, maybe this is where the people who invest in the game significantly get to hang their hat and show, and say this is my thing.
That's
Yeah,
a good point, actually,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
people are always saying, oh, this is just pay to win or whatever. But in this game, like if we look at, we all used to play Puzzles and Dragons a lot, and there were parts of that game where if you didn't have the right characters, you flat out couldn't get those rewards. Right?
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
couldn't do that level, and so it was very incentive to pay.
And there's no shard farming either. So
No, right.
The only way to get that character is to roll the equivalent of the Chromium machine and cross your fingers. you
Yeah,
know?
and that costs a lot if you were
Yeah.
going to really try to guarantee a certain character that you needed to approach one level. Of course, after a while, you could do it in a free-to-play manner, but it was very difficult, and it would take a long time.
Long time.
And
At least a
they're
year
really-
to get you like on your feet. Yeah.
And there really aren't parts of this game that exist like that, where it's a really hard paywall.
Yeah, because I mean, the three of us, like, none of us are big spenders, and we're all first in arena, and that's really the only.
I think we probably point that out like once an episode.
No, but it's the point of playing the game, right?
Yeah, I know.
It's the only PvP element of the game,
Yeah.
and the guild is going to be the next PvP element of the game. Except it's not really PvP; it's just kind of my group of dudes.
GVG.
Yeah, yeah. Group versus group. Like my group of dudes did better than your group of dudes.
Yeah.
And if that is fenced off by an investment barrier, like a real human cash money, not a cantina cash money barrier, then that's fair enough. It's a bummer that I probably won't be able to hit those things every single day, but like those people who do invest in this game, like they deserve their place to.
You know what? I've seen
enjoy
pictures
that.
of people who've invested a lot of real cash monies in this game, and the only difference between us and them, basically, is their box is full of all 7 stars, purple, gear, max, everything, which
Yep.
looks really pretty, but I mean, at the same time, does it really matter? I'm still having just as much fun, you know?
Yeah, and I think the raid is also, when we're obviously not talking about raids today because they're not quite here yet, but
Well, we have a little bit to talk about it, but
Yeah.
not too much.
yeah, and I think that's going to be another thing where like having someone with a diverse portfolio of Star Wars people is going to be much more important.
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that's only fair. Like, it's easy to complain about it and say I'm not going to have 700 crystals every day. It's like fine, hit tier 5, hit tier 6.
Yeah.
Like these people invest in this game and they deserve to reach the highest level as a result. So,
Actually, I was reading.
Joe, the advocate for whales.
well, like it would be a bummer if all your investment didn't really get
Yeah.
you much
No,
further
I
than
hear
you could
you.
if you didn't spend a penny. Like.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of people on the other side of that fence, but I
Yeah.
see your point. Okay, so there was a guy, actually, I was reading the Reddit thread that just came out a little while ago about the guild tier changes, and there was a guy saying his username was JCW895, and he just left a comment that his guild was approaching it where certain days the guild would hope that they would reach rank 7 or tier 7, certain days tier 5, and certain days tier 6. So his guild organized it where it was Tuesdays for the Galactic War one, everyone should hit rank 7, Thursdays for challenges rank 7, and Saturday, which we haven't discussed yet, which is 500 PvP battles, so it's 10 each, which is very easy to hit. They should hit rank 7. So that's 3 tier 7s per week that their guild would be hitting in probably, a relatively free-to-play guild. Tier 5 is Sunday for Cantina because Cantina would be, we'll talk about that in a second, it's quite an expensive day. And then Tier 6 is Monday and Friday. Actually, these guys are paying a bit. If they want to hit Tier 6 for light side and dark side energy usages, that's quite a bit. So yeah, it seems like what you're saying, Joe, where there's multiple ways to do it. People are given an advantage for their investment, but so far before that they haven't really been given to it besides being able to adapt to the meta quickly. And I think there are a lot of people that complain about the meta shifting or characters being nerfed, but to be honest, there have been so many characters in this game that have just been good continuously. Dooku is still not that bad.
No, he's always been good.
Yeah, Sid's okay. Lumi has always been good. Phasma, even when she was in her darkest days, when the speed meta was there,
She was just
still
sitting around in
okay.
her house eating pizza and drinking beer.
Just hanging out. But she wouldn't drink a normal beer. She'd, those cans of like Bud Light, the little silver bullet cans, right?
Yeah,
she
yeah.
only drinks those to match her
Yeah,
armor
yeah.
and shit.
She just tucks them into little nooks in her armor when she's done.
just like sucks in.
That's how she
And
stays so
Qui-Gon's
shiny.
always been good.
Yeah, Qui-Gon's
Qui-Gon's
always been
good.
good since he came out. So there's so many characters like that where you still have a real chance. Poe's always been good too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's when someone comes along and like has just started playing this game and says, "Who should I get?" That list you've just made is pretty much like the answer.
Yeah. All
Like-
the droids have pretty much always been good too.
Yeah, just like go get Qui-Gon, go get Lumi, go get Phasma, go get Sid. Not so much these days, but
No,
until
it's
about
much easier.
until about a week ago, it was go
Yeah.
get Sid. I guess now you would say go get Han, and like these guys are always there, and they're easily farmed, and they're strong, and they're good. This is the first time that there really is a barrier where it's like, well, unless you're going to do 9 refreshes.
Yeah, exactly. All
You
right,
said you wanted to talk about the Cantina.
Oh yeah, so Saturday is pretty easy. I'm sure every guild's going to be able to hit that if they have maximum members. You just need to pay 50 crystals for your refresh, so you can do 10 PvP battles. That's not.
I pretty much have to do 10 every day. Just
Yeah, exactly.
Because,
Yeah, I get knocked down so
the
far.
amount, I haven't looked at mine this morning, but I'll guarantee you I'm in 30 something place, even though I finished top 3 yesterday.
So All right, let's look. And then Sunday is 24,000 Cantina energy for your entire guild to hit tier 7. So that's about 480 each, which equals to about 3 refreshes. I kind of roughly calculated. So it's actually, I mean, compared to the other ones, it's about the same. It's about 700 crystals, right? So
Yeah,
it would
seems to be the magic number, huh?
Yeah.
700 crystals a day.
Yeah.
Just out of the reach of...
Well,
what you
700
can-
crystals for 3 days.
For 3 of the days, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. We've been
That
talking about
means
this
you
a
just
lot.
ignore all of your other, like...
Yeah, everything else. Completely.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the good things that I wrote down for these changes, because people are kind of divided on this, right? So a lot of people don't like it. One thing that I like is that it will kind of change the way that people spend energy. Before, you really only had one reason to spend energy, and that was for yourself, right? You were trying to get your characters, build up your items, do better in arena, full clear galactic war. Whereas now, if someone wants to completely ignore arena and only be in it for their guild or something, that's a different way to play the game. It's another way to spend your energy. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's a way that I might actually be more into, because I play arena every day and I enjoy it, and it's, you know, those 5 or 10 battles you do every day are a little bit exciting, but I am definitely like feeling the grind and feeling the like fatigue, you know, and just something new to focus on, like, and the fact that it's based around you and 49 other people is the bit that excites me most. Like,
Yeah.
you're there and you can talk and you can interact, and that's my favorite part about playing games. Like, it's why we're on this podcast showing our stupid faces. Like, it's about playing with people and interacting, because I can sit at home all day and hit buttons on my phone, and it doesn't give me all that much joy. But that's why arena is great, because beating other people is fun too, right?
Yeah.
Working, if you're a co-op kind of player, like, working with other people is a great joy in gaming, and the chance to do it and be organized and like talk to people and get it all sorted out is just really exciting. Like, I when I first started playing this game, I never even considered that might be a thing in the future, and it's going to be a thing in about 24 hours. So that's cool.
I fully agree. I really, really, really hope that time zones don't totally destroy international
We live in
guilds.
the worst time zone.
We live in the worst one
Yeah.
With the majority, it seems like the majority of the people we know in this game are American or Canadian or whatever. And they're definitely on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've talked about that a lot. There's good and bad. I think we all think it's pretty good. I'm excited. Who cares if you can reach tier 7 every day?
Yeah.
There's lots of days you can. So our second topic is raids. Now, raids, I found some information about it. I found a lot of stuff that I don't really necessarily believe yet. EA Jesse came out and said a lot of the data mine stuff was a bit older files and they've been changing them, and that they will be different upon release, but there definitely does seem to be some things that are for sure. So once you start a raid, each guild member can join in the fight, and obviously it's the guild leader that's joining or starting the raid.
Yeah.
Non-heroic tiers have no time limit, and characters who die in battle are refreshed the next day. However, in heroic mode, there is a time limit, and once your characters die in the raid, they cannot be reused until the heroic raid is restarted. Now, this is interesting. I really like this.
Very cool.
Fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like fun. Like a high risk, high reward
Yeah.
way to play. Like, that's awesome.
And like you said, this is what we've been collecting. There's been a grind in this game. This is why. You know, like, we've been collecting for this reason, which is cool.
Yeah, because aside from staying up to date with the meta game in Arena, like, I have a whole bunch of pretty much maxed out guys that I don't use.
That don't see the light of day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now, like, and again, it's gonna. I think if the raid is designed well, which I'm hoping, and by all the noises we've heard so far, it will be. It's gonna be a management of abilities and really looking at your leader ability. You know, a lot of people have been saying that there's a certain stage where basically the Rancor, because we're going to be fighting a Rancor, we hear, is, things like tenacity are going to become important. Whereas now any tenacity leader in the game, no one cares. Like you don't see people running Yoda lead in Arena. Or Luke,
That's
lead.
true. I heard Luke was going to be good in the raids, actually. I remember reading that somewhere.
I think that's the general consensus on that is just because he gives the whole team, I think it's off the top of my head, but it's a large percentage of tenacity. And the ability to... tenacity is the ability to resist negative status effects. Like you may notice the only time you see Luke these days is in Galactic War, and if you try to put a negative status effect on him, it basically always misses. He has like the highest tenacity in the game, which has meant who cares until this raid comes in.
I didn't even know that until you told me.
I didn't think about it either.
If you try to ability block him, it's really hard. Like if you stick an ability block or a heal block on Luke, well done. You beat the calculator, the great calculator in the sky.
Well, that is really annoying in Galactic War. Sometimes he really bugs me in Galactic War because he'll just use his ability and take off someone's like full protection.
Yeah,
he hits hard. So again, it's more pocket picks that you want, and that's cool.
Yeah,
if you ask me.
Yeah, any reason to have more of a broader roster, I'm welcoming.
Even if it means a whole lot of work to get there.
It will. It definitely will. Yeah. So the other thing is that it says, remember, the more you contribute to the defeat of a raid boss, the more rewards you earn. So I'm assuming the more damage you've done to the boss, the higher your rewards, right? Individual player rewards determined by contribution rank. So I like this because then that allows you to kind of have in guilds like if you have a guild that's kind of half and half, where you've got some newer players and some older players, then maybe the older players won't be as kind of punished for being in a guild like that.
Yeah. Like it's. I wonder. Another thing that's going to be important is how this is signposted to the other members of your guild, because this is a game, a video game on the internet, and aside from being able to say you came first in Arena, there's very little bragging rights. And I think it should be very well signposted who has contributed the most for the day.
I'm sure it will.
They should get a great big gold star, and everyone should give them a round of applause.
Everyone can praise them.
Yeah, but especially once it's in a guild.
If they don't send them a nice message, they get kicked off the guild.
Yeah, exactly.
A compliment.
Yeah.
Well
say
done.
Say something nice about your number one player. You have great hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like your face. You're very good at pressing the buttons with your fingers. But this, like you said, Greg, like it does allow guilds of different investments and levels to exist. Like you don't need to obviously there's going to be the guilds where if you're not 80 and you don't spend $500 a day, you're not invited.
Yeah.
But then it's viable to be in a guild where, I'm not interested in being in that guild. I'm more interested in just whatever guild where all 50 of the people are into it and having a good time. That's the guild I want to be part of.
Yeah.
And if that means pulling, some lower players through, as long as I can still get rewarded in a way where
your individual rewards,
my individual reward is substantial, then yeah, I'm happy to play with everyone. But otherwise, it's just going to divide the community, and it's cool that they're aware of that. At least they say they're aware of it.
I mean, it seems like that could be the case. On the flip side, I feel like you will be slightly punished for being in a guild like that, because you still are missing out on your guild rewards, right? Your guild rewards would be a lot lower.
Oh, yeah, no tier 7 for you. But
yeah.
I mean, you're always going to be slightly punished for not being in the best of the best.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
Pretty obvious to, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so raids, I think we'll definitely in our next episode, once we've all done them and tried it out and stuff, Just a little caveat note at the end of this section. We were discussing earlier that maybe we're going to make a Ritual Gaming guild. It doesn't seem like we're going to do that. So,
Too
sorry
much
guys.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody else wants to do it and just bring our name up there, that'd be great. Go ahead.
So you have to be best of the best.
Oh yeah. Don't let us
spend
down.
$1,000 a
Yeah.
day. And,
Yeah, we only want people who are higher level than us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have a quick talk then about Arena in its current state after Protection has been out for a while. Its Protection has fully changed the game. I know that myself, I really enjoy it. I think it's really made Arena a lot better, a lot more flexible too in the teams that you can run. I mean, Joe, the last time we were talking about, you were saying you were going nuts. You were like running a different team every battle. And I still think that's a possibility. And what I like about Protection 2 that we've kind of been discussing throughout the episode is that it does allow the free-to-play players to have a shot, because there are so many, in my mind, there's so many viable free-to-play teams right now. Danny, who are some characters out there right now that you think are doing very well because of Protection?
Well, okay, kind of before I start telling you that, what I wanted to say was, yeah, you're right about like seeing a team and then thinking, ooh, I want to run that team. Before, without Protection, it was kind of, you'd see a team and be like, oh, I want to run that team, but I can just run this team and destroy everybody else.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like, oh, I could, and it would be fun, and I could still climb the ranks no matter what. So anyways, on that note, a lot of teams on my server right now have DACA, a combination of DACA, Dooku, and Royal Guard,
Oh yeah.
and then whoever else, But the combination of those three just seems really fun. It's very irritating to play against, but it seems like it would be a lot of fun to play because they land stuns a lot, and they're really hard to get rid of because of Protection, obviously. And Royal Guard, I think, yeah, all three of those together, it just seems like a really fun way to build a comp.
It's funny because at the beginning when Protection was first introduced, I saw a lot of people on my server, and we were talking about your servers too, move away from Dooku. But now I'm seeing people slowly add him back in because
I've seen tons of people throw him back in.
even
Yeah.
with Protection, Dodge is still so good. Dodge is incredible. Like,
Yeah,
we
I
could-
think two of the best leads are Dooku and Phasma right now. Phasma is so good.
I actually don't see anyone running Phasma lead, but
Oh.
I'm sure it's good.
It's very good. Yeah.
The Phasma teams on my server tend to run a very tanky back end. So there's one guy on my server running Phasma, Fives, Savage, Royal Guard, Stormtrooper Han.
Oh my
Oof.
god, that's gonna be hard.
And it takes you, I just avoid it because it's not even fun to
boring,
play.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I might win this match. I usually, when I take it on, like, because as anyone who's watched any of our videos knows, we are droid lovers. So my droids can normally have the damage to take that down, but I can see in other builds, like if you were running a tankier build as well, that's just a dead heat.
I don't think you could beat it in the time limit.
No, I don't think you could. Like I can just about, with if 86 and GS hang around long enough, you can take it down. But
Yeah, you need power bursts. You need just like that damage.
you need to be able to kill two of them,
Yeah.
and then just spend 3 minutes grinding out the remaining three guys.
I think too you need assist attacks really badly to take down those kind of tankier comps right now, and if you don't have them, you just can't do enough damage for them to not eke you down. Let's talk about Fives right now then.
Fives.
Obviously, Fives
Oh,
is
incredible.
Fives is so good right now.
What a monster!
So hot.
He's so hot right
he's
now.
so hot right now.
Joe, do you have a lot of people on your server that are running Fives?
Not so many. I don't see him around too much. I guess it's he's always been one of those guys who's like your third choice to go and farm from Cantina. You want your Qui-Gon, you want your Daka, and so like I think just a lot of people don't have him, and now wish they did. So there's a couple of guys who obviously invested in Fives from the get-go who have him at 7 stars, and all of a sudden he's really good. But I've got a couple of teams, and it is a pain. especially if you just managed it, because he's the sort of guy you want to leave for last, just because he's so tanky. You don't want to spend the first half of the game.
Dangerous leaving him to last.
Because if you've got two guys up and
Yeah.
they're looking pretty ragged, like there's every chance that he just takes them out with his counterattacks.
I've lost a 4v1 to him before.
Same.
Easily.
Absolutely same.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane. I've never had that situation.
Well, if you get dodges, if you get one dodge on an assist attack, I've found like it can really snowball.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Kylo Ren too. Kylo Ren on my server at first I didn't see him very much once protection came out, and now I see him all the time. He's normally paired with fives, not not all the time, but he's really good right now too, especially if you're paired with fives, because then you're choosing like, am I gonna die by poison or am I gonna shoot myself in the foot? Like this. That was a perfect analogy.
Well, I think the problem with
I face that problem every day, Greg.
the thing about Kylo is obviously I think fives is better, and here's why: because Kylo just doesn't hit as hard.
It's true.
You know, he's great, and he can AOE, and he can have that counter 100% of the time if he gets his little check mark above his head. But yeah, compared to fives, his counter can just take you out in like 3 shots.
Kylo, unless he's got Retribution up, doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah.
And then when he's got Retribution up, you just ignore him.
But you're right, Greg. He's got to be in the right comp to be actually...
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
really
like
good.
Paired with fives, because I agree with you. If he misses his attack that causes Retribution, and therefore Retribution doesn't go up, then he's like a nothing. He's no threat at all, right? You can always leave him till last. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's if they're running it with a fives, then if he does
and a
get
Dooku, and then they just all every time
that
you
too.
attack.
Or if they're running with a Phasma, it's just that little bit of extra counterattack that he does that creates such an issue. Because then are you going to kill him first? Well, fives just wails on you and brings down your speed, and then you're going to have to kill fives afterwards. It's a tough choice, like especially if you have one guy die earlier on. I'm definitely going to make an arena video about it soon, so I'll discuss that.
I guess my number one comment about Arena now is it's so much more diverse.
Oh yeah.
And that's really great. There's a guy on my arena running a 7-star Greedo. And at first I was like, well, what is this guy on? Like, and then I
trying to keep it PC, Jen. Let's not talk about what he was on.
Well, it could have been a number of things. But
Juice.
Yeah, he's been hanging around in the cantina too long, and but actually, like, he deals a lot of damage. Like his regular attack is painful, and just coming up against guys who you haven't seen a lot is just interesting and again more diverse, because my team my top 10 is now not 10 Dooku's.
You know who? Yeah, you know who?
10 Dooku's and me.
Who got even better was Princess Leia. She was so good before. I don't see her very often because I don't think I have a ton of whales on my server, but there's one guy on my server. He runs Yoda, Qui-Gon, Royal Guard, Princess Leia, Dooku. And with the Dooku as lead. And so if you get a couple dodges on that team, like, you're just going to die. Especially if Princess Leia gets her multiple attacks off. And what I think's so good about her now is because she's stealthed, you can have like a relatively tankier team with her, or like a stun-based team, and then she can just go nuts. I'm just so happy that more people don't use old Daka on a regular basis, because she would just be so good with it.
Oh, my server is full of Dakas.
Really?
I mean, the combination on my server is that everyone is running is Dooku. This seems to be like the meta team right now, which is Dooku lead, Royal Guard, Rey, Daka, and then I've seen a few different things in the remaining slot, like GS or Qui-Gon or a couple of other things. Fives, yeah. And that team is a pain in the butt, because Rey is really interesting in this new setup. I've seen a lot of people in the community saying, like, Rey is absolute S tier now, and she was before, to be honest. And I still think she is. Like, I'm beginning to see the point, because yeah, you can take her out with a decent assist attack if it lands.
Yeah.
But if you take it at 50% and Royal Guard pops and you don't have any way of taking him down, so now whenever I play against a team that has Rey Royal Guard combo, like I need to slot Qui-Gon in, because if you don't quite finish, if you don't quite finish Rey off, and then Royal Guard pops, like you're toast if you don't take her out, because she is hitting for so much damage and then popping Foresight every turn.
Yeah. I fully agree.
Rey is definitely like a little more of a threat than I initially thought, but she's very situational. Like she either works or she doesn't. She's a little bit more RNG.
I think for her too, it's kind of within her first turns. If all of her stuff kind of works out, and she has to land her hits too.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's almost all characters have to land their hits. But she especially, because if she doesn't get that Foresight up, she is very vulnerable. She does have a very small amount of protection. I think she's okay. Every time I see her, I feel like when I lose to a Rey comp, it's because I made a mistake in another position, like doing something else. Like I accidentally triggered Royal Guard before I could kill someone or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's normally her who I accidentally triggered Royal Guard.
Or somebody like her.
Yeah. And obviously, we've said it 1,000 times, Royal Guard is insanely good right now.
I feel like we've left him out of this conversation just because it's too obvious.
If you aren't seeing Royal Guard in your top 10, I just want to move to your server and I'll make a little new home there.
Yeah. Get real comfy, just nestle in.
Okay, so this episode's already gone pretty long, so we'll wrap up our last two sections. So we'll start with "It's More Than a Feeling," and
I'm not going to sing it this
you gotta
early in the morning.
It's
too early.
Too early. Too early to sing it.
More than a feeling.
I just
More than a feeling.
More than a feeling.
Yeah.
I just realized too that your names are switched. Sorry.
Am I Danny?
Yeah, you're Danny right now.
Joe?
Yeah.
Danny.
Live those up. Okay, so It's More Than a Feeling, is it a waste of time? Or I guess since it's more than a feeling, we're going to say this with confidence
Absolute
and assurity.
certainty.
It's a waste of time to run healers right now. When I see, and you can disagree with this because we didn't really clarify this topic overhand, but the way I see it, every time I see someone running a Lumi comp, I just think the odds of that Lumi actually going off are so low when it's needed. Because now with protection, I've always found, like, especially with the teams that I'm running, obviously, which is a droid team with HK-47 as lead and Poe, I feel like you have to be so much more careful about the way you kill people, and often you're working around Royal Guard, so you're trying to keep people about at 80% or whatever, and then try and kill them in one go, and that just makes healers really pointless right now, in my opinion. I just don't see a lot of healers in my top 10.
And people are throwing in a lot of ability block too, which basically negates any ability that healers have 90% of the time, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main reason is exactly that. Like, once that ability is blocked, generally speaking, healers, I mean, aside from Lumi, who can hit pretty hard, like, it's a dead slot. As soon as your healer is ability blocked, you have you're pulling dead weight on your team.
Oh, maybe I can heal next turn, but by then, 2 guys will be dead probably, you know?
And with protection, since currently in the game there are no ways to restore protection with healers, then, I mean, by the time everybody else has protection too, and by the time your protection is worn off, then really you're already, like, the ship is already sinking, and the healer is running around with, like, little tiny corks being like, I got it, guys, don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, the only healer that I think really does pull her weight these days maybe is Barriss, because in a similar way to RG in Royal Guard, in that it's passive.
Her unique,
Yeah, so you're not using up turns, but then, you know, on the flip side with Barriss is that she hits like a sponge, so she's there with her corks, and then every now and again she just tosses a little cork at you.
Yeah, but it's not enough. It's not enough to do anything, and it doesn't really help protection, and I just don't think she's worth putting in an arena comp.
There's so much there's so much more other activities to do.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
way more things, way more characters that are better.
Throw a heavy hitter. Throw a assist
Or even a
character.
Daka. If you're gonna run a healer, then I would run a
Yeah.
Daka.
Rocco's
Daka
good.
is the heal is the championship healer right now because
Healer of today.
just
Or tomorrow.
her unique ability is the worst thing in the world.
It's
It's
really
just so upsetting, especially like I say in those situations where you've got a Royal Guard, a Ray, and a Daka, and you obviously you're focusing down Ray first because as long as she's alive, she's a threat, and you finally kill her, and she just like, boop, I'm back.
Yeah.
And then Ray pops, Royal Guard pops, and then you just don't quite have the legs to take her out, and an unchecked Ray can just reap havoc on your team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One kind of guy that I think too can really, I guess, replace the fifth slot that the healer might have taken before that people don't use is Savage Opress. Like I think that guy is gonna be used more often soon because his execution ability is really clutch with right now, and he's so tanky. He does a good amount of damage. I don't know. We shall see.
Yeah, it takes forever to take out.
All right, so no, go ahead, Joe. You want to say
No,
something?
I was really just a kind of closing thought. Like, we're not at 80 yet. And
That's true.
A lot of people haven't spent any Omega mats, and these Omega materials that have been coming out are going to make a huge difference. Like
Huge
certain
difference.
certain characters just get crazy abilities tacked onto their current ability set.
Yeah.
Once you put some Omega mats in, so
We should
We
talk
really
about
are-
that next time with who's the
Yeah,
best.
yeah, once people started
Thoughts?
HK47, definitely.
Qui-Gon's ability,
Qui-Gon's looking good.
Omega,
Anyways.
they're insane. But I think we're still in the interim meta right now. We're in like the purgatory meta,
Yeah.
where like the dust is still settling. So this is all with a grain of salt, I guess, is what I was trying to say. You know, like it's right now what we're talking about is relevant, and next week it could be completely different, and that's
Yeah.
also super cool.
And if you guys disagree, if you're running healers in your composition and let us know in the comments. Obviously, Lumi is still there. I see her in a lot of comps. Whenever I do see her, I just think, it could be another character. It could be somebody that's doing a bit more damage.
I guess with Lumi as well, her second ability is ability block, so that's one
true.
more kind of okay thing that she's got.
Yeah. And there aren't many other healers in the game, actually, right? Like
No.
that you'd actually use. So.
Yeah.
All right.
JC in Arena.
Yeah. Although I actually used to, when we were all at 70 before, there used to be one guy on my server that used
I used to see him and Lumi at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That's the only time you'd ever see them coupled together. So the last part is Wish Upon a Star. And our Wish Upon a Star section this week is I wish for a balanced tank. Now, when I'm talking about tanks, I mean guys that have taunt. And with the Gamorrean Guard coming out, and I saw the leader, the Genosian guy. Did you see that? Sun Ra or something his name is?
Sun Ra, like the funk singer.
I don't know. And he's coming out too. He's also a taunter. But right now, I feel like taunt and tankiness in general is in a weird position, where there are guys like Poe, who's insanely good, and ST Han, who's really good now too, and Royal Guard, who's really good. And those are the only taunters that you'll really see, and they're all amazing. You could put them into pretty much any composition right now, and it will get better.
They do, yeah. They fit pretty tidily into so many situations right now.
Yeah, and so what the idea is, what could make taunt or tankiness a bit more
Balanced?
balanced, yeah. Exactly. My idea I kind of got from Joe. You were talking about it a bit earlier in one of the episodes, so maybe you'll have a similar idea, was that instead of having taunts take the full brunt of damage, some taunts could take a percentage of the damage. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this online too, so when you activate maybe it wouldn't even be called taunt anymore, it's something else. When you activate that ability, it takes a certain amount of damage from the attack and allots it to that character, and the other amount goes to the other character. I think just with that small change, you could have a much more interesting taunt or tanky kind of character. What do you guys think?
Are you talking purely taunts right now?
Yeah, like tank
See-
in the idea of World of Warcraft kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with you, and I feel that majority of the tanks are already balanced.
So
You
you
know,
see Royal Guard as balanced?
except for Royal Guard. With the
Except for
exception
Royal
of Royal Guard, almost all other taunts are balanced because they just don't do enough damage.
Hmm.
And, with people like Qui-Gon, with Qui-Gon, not people like Qui-Gon, there's only Qui-Gon, you can take away the taunt.
Oh, there's Plu Kloon too.
Okay, yeah. And, I don't know, there's ways around them, besides Royal Guard, there's no way around them, that it's fine. I think really only Royal Guard is the one that's slightly unbalanced. But don't take Royal Guard away because he's really cool.
Yeah. And I'm so close.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you think? Or Danny, I guess, for this episode.
This is Danny here, and I think that
You got to do your best impression of an American accent, Joe. It's Danny here. And
yeah, I'm Danny.
Good.
That was
Good
terrible.
work.
That was so
Nailed it. I'm going to throw in a bit of a lame answer here, but I think the answer to balancing tanks is to get to level 80. I just think that they are overpowered in this interim meta that I've been
I
mentioning.
never even thought about that. That's a good point.
And I think once the Omega Mats can be used, I think they're going to balance themselves out. I just think right now, because of protection's been introduced earlier than the new abilities, and just generally once you get up to 80 you're going to be doing that much more damage, but the health will be the amount of damage you output is going to overtake the amount of health you're getting.
Yeah.
And so once everyone is running top level, I think they'll balance themselves. But so it's a bit of a lame answer, but
I actually fully agree with you, though.
I think the characters themselves are fine. It's just that we're all 76, 75, 78, 7 right now.
It's like Greg and I were arguing, and then you stepped in, and you were like, "Hey guys, you're both right."
I love it. Just imagine my arms are just tapping you both on the shoulders.
Yeah.
Right now. Am I in the middle? I hope I'm in the
Reassuring. No, you're on the left.
middle. Oh, bummer. Yeah.
You were in the middle before that.
Yeah. Oh well. It's a tough life being Danny.
I fully agree with you, actually, and I didn't really think about that. I kind of rushed this topic this morning, but I fully agree that once it gets to 80, maybe things will organize themselves a bit more. I think in a shifting, as you say, like an interim meta, the basics will always be the strongest. Like the guys that just hit the hardest, they're the tankiest. All the finesse stuff kind of goes out the window for a while. But I think it'll come back in once we get those Omega abilities, upgrades, and I mean things are going to totally change. It'll be really interesting to watch.
Yes. Yeah, and the balance of health to damage output is going to change a lot as well, because I feel like you're going to get an extra couple of thousand health, but you're going to be doing an extra several thousand damage.
Easily.
And that's going to, again, like those protection bars will go down that much quicker, and those pesky hands and Royal Guards, they'll still be good, I hope, because if they haven't got this right, it's going to really suck. Because
I don't know, their abilities are going to go up too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But looking at like what the Omega Mats are going to give those guys, it's not as and we'll get into this in a future episode where we look at Omega Mats, I suppose. From what I've seen of characters that I use, this is not a broad game-wide statement, but it seems like, again, those mid-range characters are getting boosts that really add interesting abilities to their kit, whereas the tanks just get like plus 5% damage.
Well, Royal Guard, for his unique ability, which is all people really run him for, right? The taunt, I just checked. He just gets an extra 2% heal on his unique, so that's like nothing, right?
No, that's literally nothing.
Poe gets an extra 15% chance to expose, so that doesn't make him tankier. It just gives a higher chance to expose. Mm-hmm. So that, I actually fully agree where, once damages become a bit more, that'll be...
Yeah, and then when you look at like Qui-Gon's, he gets like his assist does 75% extra damage and heals the guy for 20% of his health.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's like, compare that to plus 2% heal on your taunt, you know, like that can't even be compared, you know. So I think, you know, and like guys like big hitters are gonna get these boosts that just balance it out. I hope. Anyway,
Yeah.
We'll see. We don't know. That's
Good point, Danny.
Good point. Yeah.
Danny is so smart.
Thanks.
All right, I think we should cut it there. We just hit the hour mark, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, I think that went well. Thanks a lot for listening all the way through, guys. Our question to you this week is: do you agree with Danny or Joe, whoever you're going with for this episode? What do you think about tanks right now? Do you think it's going to get better once we hit 80, or do you agree with me, or old me, I guess, since Joe has convinced me otherwise, and that tanks are a bit too OP right now? Like and subscribe in the comments, or what? No, that didn't work. We're tired.
In the comments.
Don't type as a comment that just says subscribe.
Or like.
like this. All right, this is great, Danny and Joe, out from Ritual Gaming. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
But